Be bold, be courageous, challenge conventions. After all, the foundation of the internet gives our generation the tools to do just that. This is how empires are built in the 21st century. Welcome to another day on Emerging Giants. So back in 2006, when celebrating food culture was anything but mainstream, there were these two guys that set off on a journey, one inspired by a passion for food and the other inspired by a passion for technology. A little bit of an odd coupling, but that's what led to the formation of the startup. Two became three very, very quickly, and those three guys have led this little startup to being awarded the best e-commerce site for the past 4 years running.
Hello, Yuppiechef.
Nice to see you. You find it right?
Yeah, cool. There's a lot of people that have a vested interest in Yuppiechef as a business. You guys build community like I've never seen it before. For people who don't know, especially our viewers, how would you describe what Yuppiechef does?
Well, we're an online business and we sell kitchen tools, food ingredients, and recently wine and craft beer. Our focus is around the kitchen space. Our intention is to try and inspire people to get into the kitchen, to cook, whether it be for their wife or partner or to entertain friends. We want to give them the best tools we can, the best ingredients, and great foodie inspiration as well.
You know, it doesn't matter where you are at in your kitchen journey. You know, you might have just started out cooking, you know, you're a student, you're learning how to cook. Like, that's awesome. Start the process. Get kitted with good stuff. Make sure the equipment you're using is good quality, and we will be with you for your entire journey. So as you grow, as your skills increase, we will help you through that process.
Started with one brand and 30 products, selling stuff from Andrew and Shane's Lounge in Plumstead. And I joined them in 2008. We were a team of 5, and we were a team of 7 in beginning of 2011. And over the last 3 years, we've grown it pretty rapidly to now a team of around 80 people.
This is our customer service team, and this wall has got the names of the first 200 customers who ever shopped with us.
And when we launched in the August, we had one brand, about 30 products that we could sell, and between then and the end of the year, I think we made 8 sales. So it was about as garage a startup as you could take. It was from our lounge in Plumstead, and it was great that there wasn't a huge amount of pressure. We hadn't sort of double mortgaged our houses and risk going into big problems if it didn't work.
This is the warehouse space, which looks relatively chaotic, but interestingly is actually really well organized. We build a lot of our own tech internally. Almost 2 years ago now, we built our own warehouse management system, which sees the guys walking around with tablets on their arms, and they're guided as to what to pick in the most efficient way based on what instructions the tablets give them. They can look up products, they can basically put products anywhere. It's an approach called chaos warehousing, which, as I say, it looks fairly chaotic, but it's actually pretty organized deep down inside.
So how long does it take your guys to get familiar with the maze?
If you spend a few more hours in here, you'll work out how not to get lost.
I mean, in the early days, people had always, when they heard the name, they thought that they'd heard it before. And, you know, we had people saying to us like, oh yeah, we've seen your vans driving all over Durban, and there was a sense of them recognizing and having a connection with the name. We didn't have vans driving around Durban. But it was a name that I think in the early days, before we had big budgets to spend on advertising, that it really enabled us. It stuck in people's minds, and it felt natural and felt real.
I think the great thing about doing it like we did is that we didn't have to focus on profitability or even the pressures of investor expectations or whatever it might be from day one. And you know, I described at the time of, it was almost like you plant a spinach plant, and then as the first bit of green comes up, you try and eat it because you're so desperate to either make a return on the investment or to pay off a debt. And because we could start really slow, we could just let the company develop on its own.
We got to get what happens here right in order for what happens out there to be right. And so seeing the response and seeing how people respond to this brand and to the story has been, that really has been the most amazing thing. I mean, something that started in the lounge, we had no idea that this was going to happen, really. And also to be in the place where we can inspire other businesses, that's been really amazing.
And because we're here and involved in the business as the founders, I think there's an authenticity and a care that comes to everyone who joins us. They're not working for an anonymous corporate, they're working for this business so they can see the origins and the life of it.
Hello folks,
Hey guys.
this is Yuppiechef. And so over time we've tried to become the business that is genuinely passionate about food, and so we have 3 test kitchens now where our staff eat lunch together every day. We have a once a month breakfast in it. We're constantly trying new products and inviting guest chefs in to prepare stuff, which we then share with our community. So it's that idea of, I suppose, buying from and shopping with a business that is genuinely passionate about its category.
The kitchen was, for a long time, we were really longing for that kitchen because we wanted to live the brand. We wanted to make sure that the tools that we were selling, we had them in a space that we could test them ourselves. And for the first few years, we couldn't, and it really didn't sit well with us. So when the opportunity came and we had the space to do it, it was one of the first priorities that we put out there. It's like, we have to get this sorted.
Also do a lot through our social channels to try and show people what we term, and it's a term that was coined by my little 9-year-old cousin who one day heard that I worked at an internet business and said to his dad, can we go to Paulie's work so we can see what the other side of the internet looks like? How can we show people the other side of the internet? How can we almost move people away from this fear that e-commerce is going to be this cold digital experience to being that actually the business you're dealing with is filled with people who are the same as you and who are real and who aren't just spouting out a corporate line or sending you some automated response. We handwrite cards, as you know, with every order that goes out. It's something that started years ago, and every single order that's ever left Yuppiechef leaves with a handwritten card.
I think customers can feel when the people they're dealing with are happy in what they're doing, and so it's not necessarily about putting the customer first. It's actually first about putting the team first, and so we focus on team happiness in a big way.
And we have a thing called the Yuppiechef happiness hypothesis, which is just this vehicle, I guess, where kind of initiates some kind of experiment, which I suppose is done to see whether we can improve people's levels of happiness.
It feels like this baby that you've created, the Yuppiechef, is now growing up. Right?
Yeah.
You guys have won amazing awards. What's next? Where to next? I mean, that's such an, because you're co-creating with your consumers, you're listening to your consumers. Where to?
We've done some pretty exciting things recently. We just launched online cooking school. We, again, with this focus of inspiring people to get into the kitchen, we've got some great chefs lined up who are doing kind of 8 to 10 part tutorials on different parts of cooking, which we're excited about. It also means we've created a digital product, which our first series, which was offered free to all of our community, we had 12,000 people sign up from 61 different countries around the world.
On a basic level, still realizing that we're retailers trying to get things into customers' hands as quickly as we can. So back to the basics of that's it. If we have a great range, selling at decent prices, and we get it to you quickly, that's where our future lies. Not in some fancy new tech or new way of shopping, or just doing the basics really well.
And we just want to make sure that we bring them on with us and that they become a part of our journey. This journey, it's not our journey, it's everybody who identifies with the brand. We'll do this thing together and inspire one another and make sure that we become better cooks and make sure that we have better tools in our kitchen.
There are a number of avenues, and internet penetration in South Africa is still growing. People are becoming more familiar with the online space, so we believe there's an exciting future for us, and we intend to keep on doing what we're doing.